It's a little bit different because each year in June, we receive a CTE grant. And we don't know what it's going to be beforehand, so we can't really spend it in advance of receiving it. And DPI will allow that to roll over. So currently within that 130,000 function in 10, there's about $60,000 sitting in there for CTE expenditures that we've budgeted for. If moving on to function 170,000, it increased almost 22% in 2021, and that was due to the gifted and talented teacher that we had. This next year, we're expecting that to actually decrease because of a new staff member in that position. So they have less experience and stuff. So that will go down slightly. Function 210,000. We are expecting about a 13% increase there, partially due to adding a 0.5 virtual school psychologist. 16% of that goes into Fund 10. And then also the Masters Plus teaching group that was approved at the last board meeting. Function 240,000 includes a additional compensation for the administrative assistant staffing group. And that also was approved at the last board meeting. Function 250,000. In 2021, it is inflated partially because of that lighting lease again being about 365,000. So we're actually estimating a decrease for this coming year. We will be purchasing 4 buses, and the first payment on that will be due August of 22, so a year from now. So that is not included in this budget. But one of the reasons why it's going down is because we're not going to have that lighting lease included in there.
So excuse me on that. We recognize all of the lighting lease capital and expense it all. We don't amortize it over the savings period.
In order to capitalize the lease, you record it as a revenue and an expenditure in the same year, and they offset. And then each year after, you only record that lease payment in a different function for debt service. Yep. Function 260,000 is our central services like telephone and postage, and we are estimating that to decrease due to the telephone audit that we had this last year. Function 280,000, Jeff, that's where the lighting lease comes in. In 21-22, you can see that that's increasing from 3,700 to 45,000. That's the first year of that lighting lease. And then function 430,000 is the last one I wanted to point out, and that is our open enrolled out students. So an estimate for that, of course, once we have the third Friday count, we will be adjusting that number as well. Function 450,000, we have $1,000 that was charged to that in 2021, and that was for a youth apprenticeship grant scholarship. So it was a grant that we were part of that we then paid a scholarship out to a student. And I'm not anticipating we're going to have that in the future, but it is a possibility, I suppose. Any additional questions on the Fund 10 expenditures? Okay, so moving on, we have Fund 21 and 27 combined. So 21 is the old Fund 60 that some of you remember that we transitioned over 2 years ago to Fund 21. So the fund balance that you see there is actually all the different Fund 21 accounts and the money that they've fundraised and their balances that they had as of June 30th. The revenue and expenditure pieces in there include both what was spent in Fund 21 and in Special Ed Fund 27. Then we have our non-referendum debt, Fund 38, which is our energy efficiency loans. Which, just as a little side note, we spoke with Brian Brewer, our bond counsel, the other day, and it sounds like we're gonna be able to refinance that loan and save about $300,000. Fund 39, we had talked about this the last time, and levying that 5.1 million for debt service so that we can keep our mill rate stable with no increase per student revenue limit amount. Our mill rate would have dropped significantly. And of course, over the past few years, we've been trying to keep that stable. So this is the only way that we're able to do that. So we are able to levy in Fund 39 and then prepay debt. So that is the plan with the 5.1 million. Our scheduled debt service payments are around 1.3 million. So the rest will go to prepayment. And I talked with Brian Brewer about that as well, and he assured us that all of the debt we refinanced in January, with a 30-day notice, we can prepay any of that. We're set up good there. Fund 40 is our building fund. We are just estimating a little bit of interest being earned on that account. And then, of course, Fund 50 is our food service. So all money that comes in related to food service, we record there. All the expenditures for food service come out of there. And then Fund 80 is our community service. So overall, you can see the proposed levy at the bottom. General fund, just 3.26 million. Non-referendum debt, 644,000. The debt service fund, 5.1 million. And then the community service fund, 70,000. That gives us a total just over 9 million. And with an 8% increase in property values, that would keep our mill rate at about $10.19 per thousand. Last year we were at $10.20. If we turn to, let's see here, pages 13 and 14 are the same information. It's just a little bit different way to display the information. We're required to post that in the paper. If you had any questions, we can go through that. But starting on page 15 is a summary of our community service fund and all the different programs that are run under that fund. Page 18 is our revenue limit for our energy efficiency loan. We are required to publish our utility savings, so that's page 18. Page 19 is a mill rate recovery from 2021, so you can see where we stand in relationship to the other CSA 11 schools. Then 20 through 23 are debt service payments. So these would be all of our required payments that we need to make over the years. Page 24 is a summary of our equalized values and our past levy amounts and mill rates. And then the last page is the calendar for this 21-22 school year. Any questions on anything? Okay.
Not for me. It's third time.
Perfect.
It's just a review, right? I mean, there is nothing to approve from that.
This is
No,
just,
just a
you're-
motion
Why not?
to,
October technically, right? Official.
yes, yeah.
Alright.
So we just need a motion to
motion.
adjourn the budget hearing.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, it's closed. Alright, on to the annual meeting. See people are ecstatic for this one with the attendance.
That's their meeting or what?
We should have been in like an auditorium somewhere. In US Bank Stadium.
Callie.
He was on twice, so she is energized, like I like it.
She's having problems with her
We
computer.
were trying to figure out. I'm trying to do a positive spin on it, though.
She just messaged me.
There were some people that still thought it was there.
Those were-
There's, that was at the high school for whatever reason. I'm like,
High school.
I don't know where they found, do we have an old? I don't know. So
Yeah, I guess.
I corrected him and said it was here, but. So,
Okay. All right. I'd like to call the meeting, the annual meeting to order.
I move we elect Brian as chairperson. Second. First, order.
He has to elect a chairperson to run the meeting.
So moved.
Should. Second. We don't have to do roll call for this, correct?
No, it's
So just
everybody in
It's
the.
everybody in the room.
Any resident that's present. Vote.
Greg over there.
We have another nomination.
We do not. He doesn't sound.
who nominated him? Kurt?
Kurt did.
You're not a district resident, so.
That's true.
Do you have other
Close nominations?
nominations?
Second that.
Okay.
Aye.
Do we have to
Vote.
vote if there are no
Sure,
other
vote on closing.
Still have to
nominations. Vote on.
closing the nominations? All those in favor to close the nominations?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Congratulations. I have to vote even though there's only one nominee.
Do we have to do roll call or
No,
Everything's voice.
Everything's voice.
all those in favor to elect myself as chairperson for the meeting?
Aye.
As opposed? Matter if I did it anyway. I was going to, like, what good is that? All right, so first order of business then is to approve the minutes of the annual meeting on October 5th of 2020. Did everybody have a chance to review those?
Yeah, last year. We approved minutes as posted.
Second. Any further conversation? All those in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Minutes approved. Second order of business is approval of minutes. I guess it's third official, but approval of minutes, the special meeting of the electorate on June 21st, 2021.
To move it tonight. Sorry.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next is the treasurer's report. Page 8.
So on June 30th, 2021, Citizen State Bank checking was $3,267,553. The money market account was $5,008. The Citizen State Bank Money Market Fund 46 was $53.07. The suicide prevention from Citizen State Bank was $16,502.53. And the total bank account balances was $3,289,108.68.
Move to accept as presented.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Greg is still in Mississippi, is that correct? Just one abstain. Wasn't sure anybody else would. Here, old business.
I'm not aware of any.
Nope.
Okay, on to new business. We have to take one at a time, right? The docks
Yeah.
and half levy to meet the proposed budget for the 21-22 school year.
I'll make that motion, that recommend a tax levy of $9,078,643 for the 21-22 school year, approximate mill rate of 0.01019678, the actual mill rate to be determined after receipt of the 2021 property valuations. To support the Fund 10 budget expenditures of $21,506,061, Fund 30 budget expenditures of $5,749,188, and Fund 80 expenditures of $430,000.
Second.
Gonna read it again. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Next is authorization of the school board to make temporary loans to meet obligations incurred up to $900,000. So that's when we don't get a reimbursement and we have to take out the short-term loan to pay bills as we're waiting for a reimbursement to come in during the school year.
And this is an increase from 600,000 last year.
Yes, we were at 600,000 for 11 years.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Next is authorize the school board to purchase supplemental student accident insurance for all pupils 4K to 12 from First Agency Inc. from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
So moved.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Next on the agenda, authorize the school board to lease property, buildings, and equipment not needed for school purposes. So we want to explain that at all, or
Yeah, I think I
just like, because you guys are, like,
Yeah,
you have
it's
some
worth-
new members.
We're throwing that out there, I think.
Yeah.
We have some land in Roberts that we rent to a farmer. That's the only land that we rent.
And some right next to the high school, west of the high school as
Those
well.
two little chunks.
Yeah.
So that you can rent it to them to farm the property, right?
Correct.
For what I
And
remember.
we've changed a couple of years ago from 3-year leases to 1-year leases, just in case, there's a little more flexibility to use the land ourselves if we so deem.
I think we're not using it anyways. Elementary school, just outside the playground there, just that. I think it's corn this year. I think. I don't pay that much attention apparently.
But
Yeah, whatever it is.
That's the backside of the ambulance.
Yep.
There's no equipment, is there?
No.
No, but if
it's
it
the
should come
policy.
up, this just gives the, approval to do so.
Yeah, it still has to go through us
Anything
to approve it.
Exactly.
This is just the ability to do it, right? So normally it's,
So we don't get to call a special meeting.
Yeah.
So move that.
right? So,
Second.
oh, okay. All those in favor? By the saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, approved. Next is establish compensation and expense reimbursement for Board of Education. Do we have to read it? Because it's been posted, correct? Correct.
This went up last year for the first time in 20-some years.
And it was, from what I remember, it's still under others in the area.
Yeah.
So moved.
A second.
We need,
Yeah, we read it.
Hmm?
You have to read it.
it was posted, so I don't think
Posted.
so. Okay. This one just feels odd if others aren't. Like, do we need others to vote on this one or
Yeah.
just us?
So this is have to be approved by the electorate.
So this is not us, correct? Or do we get to do it?
I don't,
No,
always
everybody
have
votes.
abstained if that's what you're asking.
We haven't,
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
we abstained from the change last year.
Right. Yeah, something's just-
But not from the vote of approving it. Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Do we get those?
Yes, motion Jeff, second Kurt.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Business from the floor.
I agree, great.
Are snappy.
It's at 6 o'clock time perhaps,
Yeah.
right? Instead
Yeah.
of 7.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So no, nobody in line can vote, but they can bring. If Callie has anything, right? That's it.
I don't think we can- I mean, they could raise it. We could, if someone wants from this.
Can't vote, no.
But you can't vote, but they could bring it up.
Yeah.
I think
So,
Kelly's just joining us to let people in since she did the invite.
okay. I thought she lived in the district, so.
And she does, yeah.
So. Okay, no business from the floor.
Who would your?
They did this up.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Steve? Oh,